Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Hiba and this is my little journal. Today I have a fun October daily flip through for you. So I decided to flip through all of my October dailies. I have 5 albums, journals, all the things, and I'm really excited to share them with you because I haven't looked through these in a very long time. And I think it would be a good idea to have a video like this to refer to for my subscribers and for myself as well. So we're going to go through all my October dailies before I start working on my 2025 October daily. Let's take a look at all the different ways I was documenting October. So in 2020, I decided to start an October daily. This is not something that I came up with. The October daily idea has been around for a long time. And in 2020, I decided that I'm going to give it a try. And to make the process easy for myself, because it was my first time doing it, I decided to do it in a traveler's notebook. And I got this beautiful cover from Studio Calico. I don't know if they still have these covers or not, but these were some of my favorite types of covers at the time. I was putting all my traveler's notebooks in them. And so I decided to put my October daily in one of these covers. And so I'm going to just go ahead and pull this out, and that way we can flip through it more comfortably. So my 2020 was a very basic and simple way to document October. I also, for October daily, I always say this, it's not Halloween based. So the stories in here, some of them are, spooky movies and books and things like that, but they are also just stories from my day. And so I just started with a calendar. This was an old Hey Pumpkins collection. And then I kept everything consistent. I would add the photo at the top, I would stamp the day, and then I would add the journaling right next to it. And I really love how my 2020 turned out. It was so easy to put together. I think I stuck to one specific collection, and I think it was the Hey Pumpkin collection. And I just really enjoyed putting this together. We have basically cozy drinks, Halloween selfies, movies, your favorite villain. I believe I used a prompt list. Oh my gosh, I forgot. It was from Serena B. And I will try to remember to link this information. But she had a fun prompt list that I used for my 2020 October daily. I really played with this. I used a lot of my cards, stamps, stickers. I was just really playing with this and just basically adding the journaling. I also love the stamping here. This is a frame stamp that I just filled in with photos and stickers. I did a lot of little add-ons, like I think these were just older Halloweens that I wanted to document. So like the kids were so little, look at that. They're so tiny. And so I just made those to look like Polaroids just because I was documenting older photos. Happy mail as well. Funny stories. There was voting. Look, I'm wearing a mask because it was 2020. See, I love what we do because you can really capture moments, and in the future, when you look through them, it reminds you of what was happening. I just love this. Haunted house, Sabine's birthday. If you've been following me for a while, you know Sabine's birthday's in October, so she always makes it into my October daily albums. And I do have the story about this, why Sabine's friend is wearing a banana, but Sabine's nickname is Banana and Bean, and so her friend wore a banana costume for her Halloween birthday party, Halloween themed birthday party. Very, very fun little journal. Oh my gosh, I forgot about this. I had like a fun little Zoom chat date, or it was more of a crafty date with some of my friends. Love that photo. And just more extra photos in pockets here. Just because the size was so small, I had to make more pockets and add photos in them just to be able to add as many as I could. In the end, I documented Halloween with a collage of photos of basically my kids growing up in all their different costumes. So that one was really nice to put together, and I love looking at that. So this is my 2020 October daily. As you can see, so simple to put together, especially like the smaller you go with your project, the easier it is to put it together. But since I did so well in 2020, I went a little bit bigger in 2021. So in 2021, I used Heidi Swapp's journals. These are, I don't remember the name of these little mini journals. I think they're 5x7s, and they come with these albums. They're gorgeous. So I bought two. And because I bought two in 2021, I did end up using the same journals and album for 2022. But I went a little bit bigger in 2021. This is the same concept of that album that I shared a minute ago. You can just take these out and add your journals. So we're just gonna grab these and take them out because it's easier to share that way. But I ended up with two because I used 2 pages for one day, and so I needed two of them, and they are full to the brim and beautiful. I also did want to mention that these come with rounded corners. I do not like rounded corners, so I trimmed mine down. I just used my large trimmer and trimmed down the pages. So they're not perfect, like they're not like the best cut, but honestly, I don't really care. They still turned out great. So I think this one might be the first one. Yeah, so let's take a look at this. So for my 2021 October daily, I used a lot of different collections from different brands. So I didn't stick to one, but I just kind of tried to mix and match and use what I have. But I did use a lot of my Feature Craft collection because she had released an October daily style or Halloween themed collection that I loved using in this journal. And as you can see, my first story on day one is not Halloween. It has nothing to do with Halloween. It was just us going to the fair. And so I do document stories throughout October. So again, it does not have to be Halloween themed. I really had fun with this journal just because I had more space. I was able to trim down pages, add more embellishment. I also added vellum pieces as well. This was fun, and larger photos. Love the 5x6 photos in here. It's just, they pop. I also cut through my photos, added some journaling on the back of a tag and slipped it through. That one was fun. I was inspired by Elise to stamp out like large words in different colors, and really love how that turned out. I think I might do this again. I think I've been doing that, but I just loved this idea. It was just fun to add all that stamping. Documenting Stitch, he's such a cutie pie. And I used this large die cut and stuck it on acetate. And it just adds a little something there. Those are really fun to do. And then I did some flip ups as well, just to add some more journaling up here, and trimmed out photos. I think that was cute. I love the frames. I did that in my 2020 album, so I did that again here. And so you'll see that I repeat myself a lot, like with ideas. I just have fun with it. And I think, you can still do that. You can get a lot of inspiration from your older journals or from other crafters. Another flip out. And just cutting, I think I cut down a large 4x6 and used the Hocus Pocus from it. And just a lot of layering, a lot of documenting. I think Vaith was a freshman here as a red coat. Documenting the peaches always. The peaches always make it in my October daily. The Where I Stand. And then I did a little pocket. Sometimes I just want to use my tags. I have so many cards, and this is a great way to add your journaling with a little bit of interest. And so I'll add like a bunch of tags and stickers and things. I want to use my products just so I'm able to buy new ones the next year because I'll always feel guilty if I don't. And so that's why you'll see I'll do a lot of those pockets. This one's one of my favorites, just Stitch sitting there staring at me after one of his walks. And I just stamped out, it always feels like somebody's watching me. And that is it for the first half of October Daily. And let's check out the second half. So for the second half, basically I did the same thing. I was still documenting October and still playing with my stash. And so the first page here is documenting books. This one was so fun. I think I need to do this one again. I love how it's going across. So I might try to do this in my like Scrappy Spiral notebook. This one was fun. I did these little flip ups with all the artists that I'm listening to at the moment and just added little stamping and stickers there. This is an old stamp set from Feed Your Craft, and I love those autumn colors. This is a fun story in my October Daily. Sabine had just gotten her permit, so I added this 3x4 card to add the journaling, but I also added some vellum and stamped out worst driver's ed instructor because that's what I was told. I was told I'm the worst and she no longer wants me to teach her how to drive and wanted her dad or uncle to do it. So it was funny. I made it more spooky, but it was a fun little story to tell. Then we have some currently moments. I think like cleaning the car, getting coffee, Stitch got surgery, so little stories here and there. And then costumes. This is what I wore to my Zoom with the Peaches. We have a Halloween party every year and we just craft all day and have a great time. Candy, loving this one. This one's one of my favorites. I put this together, obviously. I started putting it together in 2021. And this was our Zoom craft with me all day Halloween themed party. And so I really enjoyed that. Documenting morning, afternoon, and evening. I think I still do that where I stand and some little tags and things like that. So on the 25th, I did the looking back on all the different costumes, did a flip up. Really love the stamp set of Frankenstein. I don't think I used it last year, which is pretty sad, but I need to be using this more often. I think I used it multiple times in this journal, but I did a looking back on different costumes. And then Sabine's birthday, as always makes it into my journals. Witching scents. And just having fun with this. I think I just colored all of this in. It was like pattern paper that I colored in, some more photos and stories, and then Halloween day and what the kids were doing. At the time, my kids, Laith was traveling with the marching band, and then Sabine did Halloween with friends. So that one was fun. So that is my 2021. Let's take a look at my 2022. So 2022, because I had already bought some of these journals and I had the album, I decided that I'm gonna stick to this idea and stick to my Heidi Swap journals, which I really enjoyed in 2021. So we have two of those. Let me pull these out and then we can flip through them. By the way, before I start, I did want to mention that I did this myself. I just covered up the journals. They don't come like this. I just made them look more Halloweenish. And so I trimmed out little spots throughout like the cover so I can add some stickers. And then I did a little mind map there, just having fun with my stamps and such and my stickers. All right, so we are jumping right in. Added a little flip through with a tag and added my journaling, just talking about my like fall decor and trimming down paper just to add more interest. I had fun with this one. I stamped out fall and then I trimmed around the letters, and I really like how that turned out. This is some happy mail from a friend. Oh, we got some vellum going on. Loved using the vellum through this. And some flip ups. Sometimes I don't have space for journaling, so I'll do little flip ups like that. My daughter and niece just painting pumpkins for Halloween. I also added page protectors because I wanted to use some of my cards. I usually don't get to use a lot of my cards, and I have a lot of them. So adding page protectors works as well. Costumes. Oh, this is when we did the Georgia Tech tour. Obviously, she ended up at Georgia Tech. Always documenting what I'm drinking at the moment. The Arab Festival. I did start documenting the Arab Festival in my October daily because it always falls in October. And I will do the same this year as well. I am going to be taking a booth there this year. This one was so much fun. I do remember I struggled with this. I feel like I switched things around. I always recommend, if you want to see my older October daily videos, I do have a playlist just for October daily, so you can see all these layouts coming together. But I just do remember for some reason that I didn't like the outcome of this page, and I changed it while I was creating it or while I was filming. Today's booze. So these are all my currentlies at the moment. The weather, where I stand. Oh, my figs from my fig tree. Oh, this is a story that was not fun to document, but Laith had a tiny accident. And so I just stamped, please don't park so close to me, because literally he hit the car next to him, basically. And then my costume. I try every year to include myself in my costume. I have a little pocket here. Oh, my friend Elizabeth sent me Happy Mail nail polish, fallish colors, and so pretty. So I had to document it, and I think I added the little card that she sent with my package. And then on the 15th, I documented the Peaches Zoom. Some of us dress up, some do not. It's just a fun time, and I love it. So the other half of my October daily is basically the same. Oh, you see, I used my Frankenstein again, doing a lot of flip outs. Laith went to a game, and so I documented that. And then just documenting selfies. Probably use some kind of filter, maybe Instagram. And you see, I repeat myself. I use sometimes the same stamp sets to document certain things like music, and I'll use that Feed Your Craft stamp set. And because I loved how, last year's turned out, I did it again for 2022. Candy. What I ate for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, comfort food. So as you can see, it's not all about Halloween. This one was fun. I put this on vellum. So I put Sabine's picture on vellum and then backed it up with another photo. Witching Sense. I love doing this every year. I'm hoping to do it again this year. And again, the alphabets. And then I'll document all the kids' costumes. I try not to repeat myself with the costumes, but sometimes I do, and it's okay because I'm trying to document all the different costumes they wore when they were kids. And then an October calendar with some pumpkins. Sabine's birthday again. Love documenting her in my October daily. Some more where I stand photos. I was like shopping there. And then some frames. I went bigger this time, and I added my currentlies within the frames. And then, of course, we went to the fair. We try to go every year, and I document that in my October daily. And then on the 30th, I think there was a Zoom. Oh, it was the book club. So I got to spend some time with my book club members. And then Halloween Day, I documented my niece in her costume, and then I added a little vellum piece and documented Sabine's costume. And so that year, I believe Laith was in college. Like he was living in the dorms. And so I didn't get a picture of him, but I have one for my niece and my daughter. And that was it for 2022. Let's check out 2023. So for 2023, I wanted to change it up. I was using, those larger 5x6 journals by Heidi Swapp. And I also had used a traveler's notebook for my October daily, but I wasn't able to add a lot of bulk to them. I was having to separate my October daily into two journals, things like that. I couldn't go really heavy on the chipboard and things like that because it would just get very bulky. So what I decided to do for 2023 was to put them on spirals. I created my own templates on Canva and I printed them out and then used those templates to create my layouts. And at the end, when I was done with my October daily, I put on the spirals using my cinch machine. Again, I have loads of videos sharing this process here on my YouTube channel, and I'll link the playlist down below or up above. And by the way, I do have those templates available on my website. It is a digital download, so you can download those and use them to create an album like this. So let's get to it. Like I said, really played with this. I used my templates and I used all of the things in this because I knew I could make it as big as I wanted to because I was going to add the spirals at the end. So I used a lot of acrylics and a lot of my Studio Calico kit. It was such a beautiful kit that year. So I used that. And the templates are very simple and easy to use. They're just little boxes that help you figure out where to add all the little things. So for this template, it was 4 2x2s. And then I think this was probably like a small 2x3, if I'm not mistaken. And you can add your journaling in the empty spots. It's very similar to my Scrappy Spiral notebook. I loved using my Scrappy Spiral notebook at the time. I still do, but I wanted to kind of shrink it down a little bit. And it really helped me put these spreads together easily. So this is like a 4x4. So I just added a photo in there and another like 3x2, if I'm not mistaken, and added some stickers. I was using this large number stamp from Carrie Bradford, added a larger paper. I think this was from Kelly Perky. Added some little tags in there just to pretty it up. I love doing stuff like that. It's a great way to use your tags and add layering to your spread. Another fun one, just documenting just different ideas and inspirations for Halloween decorations. Another year at the Arab Festival. As I said, we go every year, and I just did a flip out and added some more photos and journaling. What I'm listening to, documenting all those amazing artists, and then using that same stamp set. And then just documenting books, what I'm reading. I did like these little flip ups of the books that I wanted to read in October. And I did add these little vellum sticky things to hold the pages down or the books down. I really enjoyed kind of playing with the sizes of the pages because it brings a lot of interest. I love these houses. These are from the Hey Pumpkin collection, which at this point I'm printing because I did purchase the digital kit. And so I'm printing those and using them. But I loved adding them as like layering, and then used a large 6x8. I was able to do this because I trimmed it down and made it into a flip out. And just documenting our home. I think that year we had just added the lights to our home. And so in October, it kind of looks kind of spooky. And I like that. I had just bought this mug, so I wanted to document that and really just having fun with the stories. So I spend a lot of time with my niece and I have loads of pictures of her. And I thought this was a great place to document her. So I added a bunch of photos of her, added cute monster, and that was it. That was the story. I didn't have to add any journaling. I just wanted to document her in my October daily. So these are movies I've been watching or probably watched with my kids that year. And then I did the AM PM. Went out with my sister and niece on the 13th. And then again with the smaller 3x8s, adds interest. And then just documented another Halloween annual Craft With Me All Day party with the Peaches. And we started at 12. And basically I tried to snap a photo of the day, spending it with the Peaches. It was so much fun. And I need to remember to do that this year. Just kind of snap photos of our Zoom every few hours so I can add it in my October daily. Stitch always makes it in my October daily. He makes it in all my projects. And then my costume. That year it was a fun costume. I had fun with that one. I'm not sure what I'm going to wear this year. Then sweater weather. And my favorite candies that I like to get and eat around Halloween. So this one's my ghosted. Oh, it was like a text message thing between my kids. I wanted to document those text messages. And so I did a little pocket and added them there. Went to one of Georgia Tech's games. I had a lot of fun at that game. Witching Sense, and I just stamped out a bunch of witches. This, I know a lot of people ask me about this, like what's the point of the Witching Sense? And there's no point behind it. I just like putting it together. I think it's funny. I think it's cute. And so I'll just stamp out the years that I was, putting on costumes. And it really started when I had kids and was putting on costumes for my kids. Because obviously I did it when I was a kid, but, as I grew older, I wasn't doing Halloween. And so when I had kids, I started up again and started wearing costumes. So I wanted to document that. Documenting all of Stitch's toys that made it to the graveyard, basically. This dog, you cannot give him a toy and it survived. Like literally within seconds, he destroys them. And so I just took photos of his toys that ended up in the graveyard, basically. And then I got some Happy Meal from my friend Elizabeth. Oh my gosh, those candies were so yummy. And I added a vellum piece. Love this collection. It's such a pretty collection. And I just had to use it throughout my October daily. Another fun calendar. Just adding little tidbits within the calendar. Sabine's birthday, my little witch's hat is bending. And I just stamped out like large words that I feel towards Sabine. Like I love her, obviously. She's kind, she's smart, amazing, funny, sweet, calm, cool. And so I wanted to add all those fun words in different colors and in different fonts. Really enjoyed that one. And then Where I Stand. Just a picture of the kids and I. And then I ended my journal with a vellum piece and my niece's costume. I made this for her, so I really wanted to add it in my October daily. She had wanted to be Wednesday, so I put it together for her and she turned out so cute. I love her costume from that year. It just turned out so adorable. But anyways, that is my October daily for 2023. Let's check out 2024. So in 2024, I released these new Scrappy Spiral notebooks with a new template. This template is called the Yearly Project, and the idea behind it was to have the large space, right, where you can document all the things, or you can use the columns to make it easier on yourself and document the smaller things. And so you'll see when I flip through this how I played with the sizes in this notebook and how I made it my own. So I started this notebook with my October daily. I did a little title page. I wanted the best of both worlds. I wanted to be able to add 6x8 paper and also use my 3x8 and my 8x4 And also, you know, if I wanted to do flip outs, add larger stickers, it wouldn't take up the whole space. So it's the best of both worlds. I started with my calendar and then jumped right into day one. And you'll see that I was using a lot of my 3x8s. I was adding smaller photos. I also added larger photos going to the fair. So I used the whole page for one day. But then the next page, I used 2 days on one page. So you can really play with this and you can do little flip ups if you needed extra space. And sometimes I just added the photo. I didn't even write any journaling or anything like that. What I was going to be reading for October, like spooky stories. Then it was the Arab festival that year, and I just added little tidbits here and there of that day. Pumpkins, funny stories of my brother and my niece. The kids and I always go to Target and try on all their little costumes, and so I document that every year. My costume this year was Wayne from Wayne's World. And then we had our craft Halloween party. And so obviously I documented that. Sabine and I putting together puzzles, the dogs playing, adding a 4x8 is a great way to add more stories and add more interest to your album while you flip through them. And so I added a story on one side and then another story on the opposite side. And then I did a lot of flip outs as well. So this one just says scary, spooky, haunted, overnight dirty dishes, because this is literally what I wake up to sometimes and it pisses me off. And so obviously it was one of those stories that had to make it into my October daily, where I stand. Again, with the frames, I love the idea of the frames, so I'll use it over and over. I never get bored of it. And like I said, I get a lot of inspiration from my own October dailies and from others. So if I see something cool or different, I'll definitely use that. Then we have Happy Mail. I think Sabine got a new guitar. Another 6x8. I love using my 6x8 pages and just adding them. You can easily either cut through, like punch your page with the cinch machine to fit your spirals, or you could add a little hinge to add to your spirals. It's really easy to do. And then I actually went to a cousin's wedding that year. So it was like a 3-4 day thing. And so I had a lot of photos to fill in and a lot of stories from that day. So I added a flip out. I documented the henna party, the wedding, our breakfast out, and then I think that on the 29th we went back home. And I also added, I'm trying to think, now that I've flipped through this, did I not document Sabine's birthday? Oh, I did. I skipped over that. I did document Sabine's birthday. We had it earlier that year because I traveled. So we traveled around her birthday. And then just documenting the end of October daily with Lace costume and where I stand. So as you can see, I like consistency throughout my albums. Like here, I use the top portion for my day to stamp out my day and like little cuteness right next to it. And then added the story on the bottom. For my 2023 album, because I had that template, I kind of played with where I placed the numbers, but I still used the same number stamp. And so you'll see here that I stayed consistent with my number stamp. And then like on a different year for 2022, I was consistent with the number as well. So you'll see I was using that same number stamp. So I like consistency in certain albums in different ways. Like this one, just sticking to the numbers, the same numbers, and keeping the photos at the top and then the journaling on the bottom. This really helps me keep my album quick and easy to put together, but also it looks cleaner. So when you have those numbers all at the top when you can, like sometimes I can't, add it to the top and I'll add it somewhere else, but the majority of the time, those numbers are sitting at the top of my page. So it just keeps that consistency, it keeps it clean and really pretty, I think. I also really try to play with the sizing because if you have something is specific, consistent through your project, but you play with everything else, it doesn't look overwhelming. So you're not really looking, where's the number? What day is this? If I want to know what day it was, I'll just look up top and know what day it was. But I also have all these cute little add-ons that don't overwhelm the page. I hope I'm making sense. But anyways, that is it for my October daily flip through. This year, I still will be using my Scrappy Spiral notebook, a yearly project template. Obviously, I'll be using the 2025 notebook, and I'll be documenting October daily. I hope to come in here soon to share with you how I put together my layouts once we start October. I will try so hard, I promise, to share as many videos as I can. And if I can't, I'll try to do some reels for Instagram. But I've already started. I did my title page and I added my prompt list, which I'm going to add this prompt list to my Pinterest and I will link it in the description box for you. Anyways, let me wrap this up. I hope you enjoyed watching my flip through of all my October dailies. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing, and I hope to see you guys very soon. Bye.